Good morning, students. This is your teacher Neelam Elawat, and we are revising our chapter number 3, that is human reproduction. This is our lecture number 2, students, on this topic, and today we will be discussing the female reproductive system. In the previous video we've talked about the male reproductive system, right? And I hope you're revising with me and your revision is going very well. Okay, so let's start with today's module, female reproductive system. Now see, female reproductive system, now it is present in the pelvic region. If you remember, dear students, the male reproductive system was present in the pelvis region. Okay, now it is present in pelvic region, and your female reproductive system, it consists of a pair of ovaries, oviduct, uterus, cervix, vagina, and the external genitalia. Let's look up the diagram. See, this is a pair of ovaries. Okay, these are the pair of ovaries. Clear? So pair of ovaries are there. Then you have a fallopian tube, and the fallopian tube, after that you have the uterus, cervix, vagina, isn't it? So these are the parts of your female reproductive system. Okay, dear students? These are the parts of your female reproductive system. Your oviduct is also known as fallopian tube. What it called? The fallopian tube. And if you look up at the fallopian tube, it is made up of 3 parts: isthmus, ampulla, and infundibulum. Okay, isthmus, ampulla, and infundibulum. Now coming to the oviducts. Oviducts and uterus and vagina, these are the accessory ducts. Okay, these are referred to as the accessory ducts. Then there is a pair of mammary glands. The pair of mammary glands, they provide nourishment to the baby. The newborn baby is not able to eat the food like we eat. So the mother feeds the child with the help of her mammary glands. And all these parts that I've shown you, that I've written here, they are structurally and functionally integrated with each other to support the process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth, and then the child care. So your female reproductive system, dear students, is so well integrated that it performs a number of functions, including ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth, and the child care. Now let's look. You can easily locate all the components in the diagram. As I told you, there is a pair of ovaries, then the oviduct, that is your fallopian tube, there also one pair of it. Then your uterus. Uterus is single, cervix is also single, vagina is also single. Okay, is it clear, everyone? The cervix canal and the vagina, they together make up the birth canal. Okay, they together make up the birth canal. Clear? Now coming to the ovaries. Let's talk about the ovaries. Ovaries are the primary female sex organs. Okay, they are the primary female organs, and they have dual function. First, they produce the female gamete, that is your ovum. So they produce the egg, right, everyone? And second is, they produce steroid hormones, that is your estrogen and progesterone. So testis performs 2 functions. First, they produce female gamete, and second, they produce steroid hormones like estrogen and progesterone. And their ovaries, they are present in the lower abdomen. Okay, dear students, they are present in the lower abdomen, and they are connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by ligaments. Okay, they are connected to the pelvic wall and the uterus by the ligaments. Now each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma, and the ovarian stroma has 2 zones, peripheral cortex and inner medulla. Suppose this is your ovary, so the outermost covering is your cortex and inner it will be called your medulla. Clear, everyone? Okay, in the cortex the follicles are present. So here you will have the follicles, and in medulla the blood vessels are present. Okay, medulla में आपकी blood vessels होंगी, cortex में आपके follicles होंगे. Let's look up the diagram. Again, you see the structure of the ovary, as I told you, everyone. So you can observe here the various stages of development of follicles. आप यहाँ पर बहुत सारे follicles देख पा रहे हैं, and these follicles they are in the various stages of development, isn't it? Is it clear to everyone? You have a primary follicle, then you have a oocyte, then you have a secondary follicle. So in this manner they are developing, right? Is it clear? So here the ovum has been released. This is the mature ovum, and now the rest of the structures is called the corpus luteum. So corpus luteum is degenerating, right? So your ovary represent the different stages of the follicle. The primary follicle will develop into a Graafian follicle, right? This primary follicle, which is here, it will develop the Graafian follicle, right? This stage. It will develop into a Graafian follicle and then into the mature ovum. And the mature ovum, it will be released on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. Okay, so on the 14th day the ovum will be released and the corpus luteum will start degenerating, and this evolution of ovum from the follicle is called the ovulation. Okay, so ovulation will occur on which day? It will occur on the 14th day of the menstrual cycle. Okay, dear students, it will occur on the 14th day of the cycle, right? And the rest of the part will be called your corpus luteum. Rest part is called your corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum will then secrete a hormone which is called progesterone. Okay, everyone? It will then secrete a hormone called progesterone. Now coming to the fallopian tube or the oviduct. As I told you that there are a pair of fallopian tube. This part is your fallopian tube. This complete part is your fallopian tube, right? This is your ovary where you can have different kinds of follicles, and once the egg is developing, then it will be released, and which is called ovulation. Then the egg will enter into the fallopian tube. So let's understand about the fallopian tube. So fallopian tube, they are in pairs. So there are two fallopian tubes, okay? And the fallopian tube is also called as oviduct. Clear? The part which is closer to the ovary is a funnel shape. देखिए जो part ovary के पास है वो funnel shaped है. This portion you can see it is funnel shaped, and once the egg is released, it will be captured by the fimbriae. Okay, so once the egg is released, it is immediately captured by the funnel shaped portion of the ovary which is called fimbriae. ठीक है? Then the egg will go to the infundibulum, second part which is called infundibulum. Then the egg will go to ampulla. Okay, then the egg will go to ampulla, and then it will go to isthmus. Okay, and then isthmus joins with the uterus. ठीक है, isthmus आपका uterus से join हो जाता है. Coming to the uterus, which is also called as womb and the vagina. Now uterus is single. Okay, dear students, the human female has a single uterus, and it is also called as womb, mother's womb, right? It is inverted, pear-shaped in structure, and it is attached to the pelvic wall by the ligaments. It is attached to the pelvic wall by the ligaments. Okay. Inside the uterus, the fertilized ovum will grow and will develop in the embryo. Now once your embryo is fully developed, okay, then only it will lead to the birth of the child. So first of all you will have uterus, then your uterus it will lead to cervix. So next we will have the cervix. Okay, so you can say your uterus, it will open into the cervix, and the cervix will then open into the canal, that is your cervix canal. Okay, that will open into a cervix canal, and cervix canal will then open into vagina. Okay, so uterus, in the uterus the child will grow up to approximately 9 months, and this period is called as your gestation period in human beings. What is the time period, dear students? It is 9 months, right? And the cervix canal plus vaginal canal will form the birth canal through which the child will be born. Now your wall of the uterus, it is surrounded by 3 layers of tissues. First is perimetrium, then myometrium, and then is the endometrium. So dear students, this is very, very important. The uterus is surrounded by 3 layers: perimetrium, myometrium, and endometrium. Okay. Out of this, the endometrium is the most important, right? Because it undergoes the cyclic changes during the menstrual cycle. So when menstrual cycle is operating in the human female, then this endometrium, it undergoes a number of changes, right? It prepares itself for the implantation process. Okay, once the you can say the egg is fertilized, then it is planted into the uterus, and this endometrium layer, or you can say the zygotes get embedded into this endometrium layer. So that is why the endometrium of the uterus prepare itself for receiving the zygote. Okay, for receiving the zygote. Now external genitalia. Now dear students, as I am telling you that you have you can say the endometrium prepare itself for receiving the zygote. Now if the zygote does not come, if there is no implantation, then in that case this endometrium will be discarded by the uterus. Okay, it will be discarded by the uterus, and this will call your menstrual flow, right? This will call your menstrual flow. Okay, this will call your menstrual flow. So that will be discarded in the form of menstrual flow or the monthly bleeding that all females have, right everyone? So it is the removal of the endometrium when the zygote is not planted into the uterus. So that flow is called your menstrual flow or the monthly bleeding. Now coming to the external genitalia, dear students, the external genitalia includes your mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and the clitoris. See, mons pubis, it is a fatty tissue covered with hairs. Okay, on the surface of the vagina, it is covered with the hairs, so that is your mons pubis. Then there are 2 folds that surround the vaginal opening. The bigger folds, they are referred to as labia majora. Then another smaller folds, they will called as labia minora. Then clitoris is a tiny structure. It is a finger-like structure that is present at the junction of 2 labia majora. Hymen is the opening of the vagina, and this is often torn during the first intercourse. So when there is first time meeting between the male and the female, then this hymen layer is torn. But this is not an authentic layer to determine the virginity of a female, because sometimes these females who are involved in athletics, this gets torn also. So it is not a necessary that if the hymen is intact, the female is virgin, right? So in our society, this is generally assumed that if hymen is intact, that means the female is virgin. But in case of those females who are involved in the athletics, who are doing the heavy exercises, the hymen breaks during those exercises. Okay, clear? So hymen, the presence of hymen or absence of hymen is not a reliable indicator of virginity. Okay, dear students? Right. Now let's talk about the menstrual cycle. How does it happen? Let's talk about it regarding that. Suppose this is there, isn't it? Now let's rub it so that we can easily understand the phenomena, the process. Now what happens, dear students? First of all, your egg, the ovary will mature or produce the egg, right? And in 1 month, you can say your ovaries, they function alternatively. Means if first month the left ovary is functioning, so next month your right ovary will function. So your ovaries, they function alternatively. Now in the ovary, there is a maturation of the egg. Egg will be formed and this egg will be released, right? This egg will be then captured by the fimbriae. Then it will reach the infundibulum. Then it will go to ampulla, and then it will go to isthmus. So when it reaches this portion, the junction between the isthmus and ampulla, you can say the egg will wait here for 24 hours. Okay, the egg will wait here for the 24 hours. Clear? So suppose if you know that the egg is released on the 14th day, isn't it? We have talked about ovulation occurs on the 14th day of the cycle, right? Clear? So this is your first phase, which is called ovulation, right? This is called the first phase, which is called the ovulation. Then if there is a mating between the male and female, so through vagina, the sperms will reach the egg. Okay. So the sperms will reach the egg, and there is a fusion between the sperm and the egg. Okay. So there will be a fusion between the sperm and the egg. Right, everyone? There will be fusion between the sperm and the egg, and zygote will be formed. And this zygote will then be planted into the uterus. Okay, it will be planted into the uterus. Clear? And the growth of the child will start. And this occurs for 9 months, and then the birth will occur. Then the child will be born. But suppose if there is no fertilization, then in that case, your egg will be eaten by the lysosomes. Okay, egg will be eaten by the lysosomes. Clear? And this preparation, the endometrium which is prepared in case of, as I was telling you, the endometrium will be released in the form of menstrual flow. Okay, dear students, it will be released in the form of menstrual flow, right? It will be released in the form of menstrual flow. Clear? It will be released in the form of menstrual flow, right? Egg will be eaten by the lysosomes. Okay, that is very good. So I hope you've understood the process. Have you understood? Yes. Even if there is any doubt, you can ask me questions. I'm waiting for your questions, dear. Any questions? Okay. So coming to your last portion, which is your mammary glands. As I told you, that there is a pair of mammary glands in human beings, and these mammary glands, they are used for feeding the growing child. Okay, so they are paired glands. Your mammary glands, they are paired, they are glandular, and they have variable amount of fat. Okay, so there is a fat is also present in this, and there is approximately 15 to 20 mammary glands which are present. Okay, they consist of 15 to 20 mammary glands, right? Now these mammary glandular tissues in terms called as mammary lobes. So we can say 15 to 20 mammary lobes are present. Okay, 15 to 20 mammary lobes are present. Now these lobes, they are made up of special cells which are called alveoli cells. What do we call these cells? Alveoli cells, right? These alveoli cells, they secrete milk, and that milk is stored into the lumen. Okay, where it is stored? Into the lumen. So there are 15 to 20 mammary lobes, isn't it? And their mammary lobes then contains alveoli. The cells, they are called alveoli. They will release milk which is stored in the lumen, and from there it will open into the mammary tubules. Okay, it will open into the mammary tubules. You can see here the mammary tubules, the mammary duct. Okay, then tubules, they unite to form the mammary duct, and through the nipple the food is sucked by the growing child. Okay, it is sucked by the growing child. Clear? Is it clear to everyone? Right. Okay, so first mammary lobes, then you will have the mammary duct, then you have the lactiferous duct, and finally it will be sucked by the child. So coming to your homework, dear students, first of all you will make notes of this topic if you haven't so far, and secondly you will revise this topic thoroughly, that is your female reproductive system, and you will revise the questions of chapter number 3, all questions of chapter number 3, right, dear students? Okay, and I'm still waiting for your queries if there is any, right? If you couldn't ask in the class, fine, you can send me your queries personally also. Okay, everyone? Okay, bye.